Howdy everyone, Due Process is finally getting some new players thanks to the Annapurna Publisher sale. If you missed the sale, don't fret, the game's price was lowered pretty significantly depending on your region, so it's still a great time to check it out. For those that have the game, today I want to explain an interesting mechanic on the maps that have a breaker box. See, in Due Process, players can hit the lights and go dark, and of course, attackers can equip themselves with night vision to provide a significant advantage in those circumstances. But I notice a lot of new players gravitate towards power as if it's always worth controlling it around. And I hate to break it to you, but taking power on some maps really isn't worth divesting resources into when you can just win the round otherwise. Ultimately, Due Process is all about freedom of player choice, where players can carve their own path through the maps, so take this with a grain of salt. On Factory and Kill Dome, the maps are tall, they're big and roomy, so hitting the breaker means wide open spaces go near pitch black. For defenders, this is an immediate death sentence if they don't have flares or aren't properly positioned around choke points. But on C-Store, the map is only one floor, and it's got tons of emergency lights. Thanks to the shallow nature of the map and the entire absence of verticality, a single flare can light up a lot more relative space. Attackers are expected to pick up and move flares as well, but because things are so cramped on C-Store, it's not always an option to throw a smoke and get an E-Light out of the way. Kill the E-Lights. Take your time now and kill E-Lights. Get the flares out of the building. Also known as E-Lights, these guys are found around every doorway and should be shot out while pushing. Taking your time to go off target and shoot a light every few seconds is not ideal. So let's say taking power on attack on C-Store is mediocre. What is it there for then? Herein lies the tip. Hitting the power on any map with a breaker has side effects. On Factory, sometimes you'll have a chance to lock a guy inside of a truck, but if the power is on, another player can run by and save them by opening the truck again. If the power is off, however, they are stuck. There is no escape. Try doing that and rotating back outside and lighting the truck up. Turning power off on Factory also stops the fan from spinning, opening it up for a sneaky flank. Likewise on Kill Dome, turning off the power stops the castle drawbridge buttons from working, which is a tremendously underutilized strategy. They blew the pit? I'm hitting power. In this example, the attackers had to leave pit and observation and go all the way to jungle into our crossfire. As for C-Store, turning off the power stops users from being able to cycle the shutters from inside the teller's booth. You can see how with Dome's drawbridge and C-Store's shutters, power can suddenly swap from being an attacker-centric objective to something that defenders can actually actively use to hamper a push. You might see this more in high-level play, but I urge all of you to learn this. When attackers make a clear effort to breach into or access the teller's room to open the shutters, hit the power. If the map looks like it might be easy for Argus to find a way into the teller's booth, plan to have a defender sit at the breaker, protect it, and cycle it when necessary. Okay, but what if you're the attacker? This is where the incredible mind games of Due Process come into play. If you think that the defender team will stop you from accessing shutters, bait them into turning power off for you. Bring NVGs, and instead of fully committing to going inside the cramped teller's room, rotate your allies somewhere else and go for a lights off play. If the defenders get panicked, they will turn the power back on to see, and at that point, you can have the flanker go back inside tellers and open the shutters. It's rare to see all this stuff come together, but I think it's because we sometimes forget about how many elements of the game interact with each other. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed Due Process. Make plans, shoot mans, see you next time.
Super shotик.